The next part of our homework, super mega bonus credit hyper fighting. Make the remove button work. Ooh. Tricksy hobbitses. So if we were to make a function that removes things, which component would you put that in? App, right? If it's going to change our list of things, it has to happen in app. So let's give it the clever name of remove thing. And like save thing, we'll have it actually take the thing to remove as an argument. I'm using a property initializer because I like them. We're going to need to get the current list of things, so we save a copy of it for safety instead of changing it directly. And then we just need to delete the thing that is at position thing.id, right? Who knows how to do that? Delete. The keyword delete. So delete things square bracket thing ID does exactly that. It just takes that key clear out of there. Yes? So people say that the delete keyword is a very slow way to remove an object from an object. I'll go ahead and tell you that setting things thing.id to undefined does not work because it leaves the key there. So when you loop over it, loop over all the key is still there. So let's see here. JavaScript object remove key. Let's see what, delete is what comes up here. Map prototype delete if it were a map, which unfortunately it is not. But that's fortunate in other respects. Let's see what Stack Overflow says. The delete operator allows you to do this thing. If you're looping your keys in that and delete them if they match a certain value, does that affect blah, blah, blah? Well, that seems to be the answer. I mean, that's how you do it. But apparently it's gross and slow. But I don't, it's only going to happen if we click the trash icon. How fast do we really need that to be? There's not a whole lot going on at the same time. It is probably okay, even if it's not the most performant thing in the world. If we were doing this in like a node backend and it were something that could happen at volume, then maybe we'd be more concerned about it. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know of another reasonable way to do that. Now, as it happens, we are going to replace this with something else later once we add a backend to this app, because this app will have a backend. So I guess the alternative would just be not to use an object, to use a map instead. So let's see. We need to actually call that by clicking this button. So that button lives inside thing again, right? So we need to pass remove thing down. So that's yet another prop here. If we got tired of doing this, we could create a little variable to store these things in. By that I mean, say group save things and remove thing in an object. Let me just show you what I mean. So inside the render function, I'm going to make a local variable called actions, which is going to contain all of the methods that mutate things that I need to pass to ThingList. So I'm going to give that a key of save thing, and that's going to be equal to this.save thing. And I'll make another one called remove thing, and that's going to be this.remove thing. And then we can use that trick like we did with props. And instead of passing in save thing and remove thing explicitly, just put ellipsis actions. So that way if there's more stuff that we end up adding to every one of those things, we can just add it here, which is a little easier to find and read than putting it inside the JSX, I think. So if we look at ThingList and its props, we see remove thing and save thing are there. Now we need to make sure that it gets all the way down to thing, right? There aren't any things at the moment. Let's add one. And let's look at it. Look at its props, and sure enough, it has remove thing as well. Why? Because in ThingList, we just passed all the props down to thing. Cool. So what are we going to do about it? Here's our button. So we need a click handler there, right? So button, class name, remove. On click. What's on click going to do? It's just going to call remove thing and pass the current thing in there. So I'm not going to write a separate function. I'm just going to put an arrow function in here that calls remove thing. Now we have remove thing as a prop. I haven't actually pulled it out of here yet in my argument list, so let's do that, remove thing. And this thing's getting a little long again. Make sense? So we add the onClick, which calls this function right here, this arrow function. And then inside that arrow function, we call remove thing. And remove thing was a prop that we made into a local variable. And it's available to us because it was passed down from app. And it gets a copy of the things array. It deletes the one at that position, and then we need to set state again, right? Just like we did before. So let's try it out. Fellowship of the Rings is boring. Deleted. Let's look at our state. Sure enough, we're down to two things. The two towers and the Return of the King. All right. Delete appears to work. Ship it.